But Reiki is quite good combination with Tai Chi, for example.
Yeah.
And also, most of the Qigong, I think it is quite okay. Like after you receive a Chungen and you also practice some Qigong or Tai Chi, then, my student even find it more effective. Yes,
Yeah.
that those experience I have seen many, but mostly those kind of foreign energy work, that's so different concept that is cannot like literally we can't really do combination of Usui Reiki and something else. So yeah, that's too hard. Yes.
I agree with you. I think, like Qigong, for example, I actually have started studying
Mm-hmm.
it very lightly, but
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed just feeling the energy and making shapes and manipulating it. It's like, for me, that's like Reiki is actually doing that, but I'm doing the movements of Qigong. So then it's like an
Mm-hmm.
interesting way of feeling energy in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I also wouldn't ever say it's Reiki Qigong because it's
No.
like they're
Mm-hmm.
two different practices
Mm-hmm.
in what they're trying to activate and how they're trying to activate it. So I feel like once you've learned one, you can see some like similar feelings or like have that energy because they are energy work,
Mm-hmm.
like that feeling of like, oh, this is another way to feel energy
Mm-hmm.
differently. But I also, yeah, I think like you, it's hard to be like, no,
Mm-hmm.
they're not the same because technically
Mm-hmm.
they're just at their very root energy and
Mm-hmm.
experiencing it. But I think as a practice, that's where it's like if we're categorizing things as people do, then we have
Mm-hmm.
to then we have to really call them what they are. And then also I think culturally,
Mm-hmm.
those are coming from different, very different places that
Mm-hmm.
haven't necessarily gotten along at
Mm-hmm.
certain times. So
I think my understanding is, because I have many students, but then very few of them actually they also told me why I have this and that. And then they finally, maybe that's also we can call life journey. Like maybe
mm,
the people also want to pick something else rather than Reiki. But I think, once you learn about Usui Reiki, it's really like a universal. So if
hmm
you go to other type of energy work, which is it can be Kundalini or other energy work, it is so different philosophy they are working compared to the Usui Reiki. But I think if people really decided, okay, I don't do Usui Reiki, but then I also do other energy work instead, actually this can be done so easily.
hmm I
But
agree.
opposite is not easy. Opposite is not easy. I know that. I found that the people understanding it is so different from what we learn, and it seems a little bit challenging for them to digest about what does it mean. Yeah, so again, so that's why I feel like it's really the necessary for them to, if you really want to learn, you want to know about what's, this Usui Reiki, is maybe better to retake the course actually much faster. Yeah. And then I also did it too. So yeah, that's my personal experience too. Like it seems it's easier to go out the energy type of work from Usui Reiki, but the opposite is it seemed quite difficult. Yeah.
I agree. And I think part of it is that basic philosophy that we've been talking about with all of these practices, is like once you learn something, you have an expectation that it's going to be a certain way. But if
Mm-hmm.
the basic like seed of it, let's say you're like, you are wanting to grow a sunflower seed, so you buy sunflowers, but then you change your mind halfway through and
Yeah.
you want to grow poppies or something like that. It's like, well, those are two very different seeds, even though they're both flowers,
Mm,
they're going to bloom in different ways. So
yeah.
it's like, is one more beautiful than the other? I don't personally think so, but I do think that's why people have such a difficult time switching between,
Mm,
Reiki practices or energetic practices sometimes as there's an expectation. So like for me, I'm like Reiki is my core at this point. It's like on that path, but I still like to explore like other energetic practices. So like again, Qigong is one of my ones right now. And
mm,
so having that experience with Reiki, it's like I am differentiating, but it's still like sometimes in order
Mm,
just to feel it, I'm starting with Reiki, but I don't mistake that for Qigong. Like I know that that root is, some of them again are similar, but it's like I don't have that expectation of like
mm,
Qigong has to conform to Reiki or Reiki has to conform to Qigong. I see them as separate practices. Whereas I think,
mm, mm,
especially when something has the same name, people are
mm,
like, it's the same thing. And I
mm,
think this goes back to what you were saying earlier with,
mm,
yoga and meditation.
mm,
It's how, like you go somewhere and it's just labeled as a yoga class.
mhm,
But
mhm.
how do you know which one is going to fit you and
Yeah.
what one is maybe more
Mm,
traditional and what, maybe that all is based on your first experience and maybe you hate
mm.
your first experience. So you're like, oh, all yoga classes are the same. I'm never going to do
Yeah.
yoga again because I'm
Yeah.
not sticky. And it's like, well, that's not the purpose of yoga. Is like actually everybody should do yoga
Mm.
because they should get more limber and stuff, like everybody should do Reiki because then you get more energy. Same, right?
Oh. I think your example of seeds blooming the flower is good, but I think our Usui Reiki, for example, maybe we are not just a seed anymore because I say Usui Reiki is a universal. So yeah, but I can understand like if you get this seed and then you want to change to another flower to bloom, of course you have to change the seed. But Usui Reiki, for me, this kind of feeling, like because I say universal, maybe it can be the seed or even can be the soil or water or like air or even sunshine. So that kind of sensation I have this now, like it's not like just exactly one thing that we are talking about. So if you
Mhm.
want to change another, then you throw this all away and change to another thing. So that's not really happening with my Reiki learning. Yeah,
No.
actually the Reiki creates my foundation of my learning things. So that's starting from energy general, but then so that I have better understanding about many things, even the understanding of human emotion, for example.
Mhm.
Like I really couldn't understand myself. For example, I don't know how to control my emotion. And then I also don't understand why people are thinking like that. And then, I don't understand. So I have so many don't understand experience in my life. But after I learned Reiki, then I could understand my emotion, and then at
Mhm.
least I learned how to control, manage my emotion. So with this kind of really actual practice, then I feel like I finally kind of trying understanding the people's emotion as well.
Mhm.
So that's also good news for me because I become kind. I could become kind to others. So I finally made it in the Gokai, right? So before I'm trying be kind to others, that was so hard because
Mm.
I couldn't understand my energy condition. I couldn't understand my emotion. But now I understand my energy condition. So that's easy to be kind to others because I'm
Mhm.
kind of touching people's emotion more.
Yeah.
I think it's not really, I totally understand your emotion, like that kind of thing. I never maybe feel it like you feel, right?
Mhm.
But at least I found it more kind of, okay, so what's going on? Like I have more energy to want to understand more. So yeah, that's I think I really feel the benefit